What are the rights that a travel has upon us in Islam? Specifically, if someone approaches me claiming to be a traveler, what are the minimum and maximum obligations I have in terms of offering them assistance? And is it considered a sin if I choose not to help them? This is one of the questions that shows there's an original ruling to this, but then when there is so much corruption, many of the good deeds people are deprived from because of so much evil and sins and corruption. Meaning, before I answer this question, as one of the early generations of Islam, there was a bystander, someone, he was traveling and he saw someone, we mentioned that before, uh, seeking a ride, help. So, this is what normally people would do. When see someone they want to help, come on over. And he took him. And once they were away, it was a robber, and he got his sword out and he says, "Get your money out," and things like this. So after he gave him everything, he told him, "I ask you for a favor, don't say that to anyone that you did this, because if people know, they would not help one another anymore." Right? And that's what reality is. If you see someone on the highway trying to ask you for a ride, most of the time, people won't stop. Why? Not because that they don't want to do good, but they're afraid for their life. Why? Because there's so much evil out there. So this is one of the examples. The traveler has a right on you. If someone comes to you says, "I came from," he doesn't have to be a wayfarer, doesn't have to be a poor person, your relative, your friend came to you and knocked on your door. "I came out of town." He has an obligation upon you. Either if you have the means, either you host him, you have to host him if you have a place for 3 nights. He has a right. That means he can go to the judge and sue you if you don't host him, if you have the means. If you have the means. If you, when usually, even the Muslimin, when they would build their homes in the past, they would have a place for the guest and separated completely from their place of living, so that they don't have to be. Nowadays, it's difficult to have someone even to spend the night in your house. So what I'm saying is, if there's means and it's safe and everything. If not, then, and the person has the means, all of that with having the means, then he would rent a room for him in the hotel. It's upon who? Upon the resident. Then he has to pay for 3 days only, and then after that you figure it out yourself. This is the normal situation. But if a person senses that this is not real and a person is just manipulating others and things like this, then a person has to abstain, and he should not help people to be abusive of others or manipulate others. The same thing with those who beg, being a professional beggar versus someone that is truly in need. You should not help someone to continue to be in state of weakness and bad and so on. But you don't know, so that's why you give. And Allah knows best, and give what is sufficient for you, at least if you're asked to give, give. But in that situation, you have to make your judgment. But this is the original ruling, yes. And if a person has the means and he doesn't, this is a sinful act.